Hello, I'm Max,
Hey, I'm Twiggy.
and this is Tech
Tech
A.
A.
In today's episode 4, we're talking about cyber attacks. What are cyber attacks? Are they a real present threat to civilian population? What can we do to prevent data loss? And what can we do to regain communications if something ever to happen? So let's just get right into it. What is a cyber attack? Cyber attacks can range from small personal attacks like DDoSes, phone scams, or hacks, or in most predominantly for individuals as be social media hacks. Twiggy here has recently completed a cyber defense certificate, correct?
Cybersecurity certificate, but same kind of idea.
Okay, and so can you go over like what a DDoS is for individuals that don't necessarily know what that abbreviation stands for?
So I believe it stands for direct denial of service. I just finished my program, but it's still kind of a blur right now.
Basically, from my understanding as a gamer, always having a threat of DDoS attacks, and I was a streamer at one point, and that's always a fear as a live streamer or a content creator of basically a hacker getting into your Wi-Fi router, your IP address, and getting full control of your computer. They're able to see, hear, and do anything. They'll be able to find data and information, your direct mailing address. They'll know who you are, where you work, who you work for, your contact information for all of that. And so a lot of not so cool things can happen if you are a victim of DDoS.
Okay, so I fired up the old Google machines. A DDoS attack is called distributed denial of service.
Ah,
So the attack is a malicious attempt to disrupt normal traffic on a targeted server, service, or network by overwhelming the target and surrounding its infrastructure with a flood of internet traffic. Basically, it's creating a traffic jam along the internet superhighway, so people just can't access things, and at that point, then said bad actors will then infiltrate systems.
right, because
Well,
there's no defense. There's no
right,
defense mechanism
right.
set in place anymore. So more or less, that is precisely what happens. That's the main goal, is to gain access to information. It's not necessarily to maliciously shut down your Wi-Fi router. That's silly. Like, they want access to your computer. And therefore they want access to information to harm you, use it as ransomware, all kinds of spooky stuff. Some other much larger cyber attacks aren't on the individual level, like public infrastructure and companies can be cyber hacked or cyber attacked. There's been numerous very recent attacks. One of them being pharmaceutical companies had a huge data breach. It's pretty concerning. Nobody's really taken any responsibility for said cyber attack. They're not really talking about it unless you're eavesdropping at your local pharmacy. They all are talking about this recent data breach. And what does that mean for us as just common individuals in society? It means a lot, but there's not really much that we can do. Brad brought up before this recording a cyber attack on Forex, or what? What was it?
So I was talking about the cyber attack on Equifax.
Equifax.
Everybody knows that because Equifax ended up, I believe, getting I think it cost them $1.4 billion in damage control. So not only did they have fines from the federal government, they had to provide internet or identity monitoring services so that people weren't victims of identity theft, because literally their social security numbers, their usernames, their passwords were pretty much open season for anybody who wanted to look at them.
Yikes.
So I won't go into much detail about it, but that cyber attack could have been prevented, but Equifax was just fully negligent. What happened is there was a security update that came out because there's this database that basically checks, I guess, vulnerabilities, and Equifax knew this. And one of their IT guys was supposed to go and send an update in that system. And then the hackers or bad actors, whatever you want to call them, noticed that this update needed to happen. And they also checked to see that Equifax didn't do it. So with them not updating their software and being compliant, therefore the bad actors just went in there and had a field day with their information.
So, did they say like what they did with that information? Like, what were they just there to basically sound the alarm on this very clear problem that they had in their infrastructure, or were they actually
No, they were there to steal information.
They were there to steal information,
Because this was, they never said exactly who did it, but they're pretty sure it was a nation state. I think it was China. It might have been Russia. But it was definitely an attack. I can look it up real quick because I did do a
synopsis
no
paper.
Not necessarily a paper, but I had to do a project based on this.
Aha.
Okay, so let's see. Yeah, so there was a security patch for Apache Struts, which was a program that Equifax used to essentially, I'm trying to remember if it was their database or their network security. But on March 7, 2017, a security exploit was found in the framework, and users were urged to update immediately. And then security experts found an unknown hacking group try to find websites that have failed to update struts as early as May 10th, 2017. The breach at Equifax started on May 12th, 2017. So they had between March 7th and May 12th to update their systems, and they didn't.
Excuse me, just want to put a pen back. Thank you.
Thank you.
So these activities went undiscovered for 76 days until I believe somebody from that Apache company noticed something was going on.
Huh.
I don't want to spit out a bunch of information, but
It's all public knowledge. You can go
yeah,
Google this.
you can definitely Google it. I don't want to say incorrect information.
What is Equifax, and why are people using Equifax?
Equifax is one of the 3 major credit bureaus. So if you go to check your credit report, Equifax is on there. So if you go to apply for a home loan, car loan, just whatever, they've got all of our information. It's not only U.S., it is Canada, it's the U.K. It's affected a bunch of people. They're saying, let's see. They found credit card numbers of approximately 209,000 U.S. consumers.
Wow.
And then they found something that's called PII, personal identifiable information. So like names, addresses, email addresses of another 182,000 people.
Wow.
And then...
And this was in 2017?
2017.
Is there a class action about this, or?
Yes, there was a class action.
Okay. Well, I think it's a little late now to get involved in that, but I think they resolved it. It's 2024 now. But the idea is that nobody's really safe from a cyber attack, especially if you're being complacent in your security. I don't know why I had to sit there and think about that, but a much larger and more dangerous, but people tend to think of this as like a tinfoil hat situation. It's a little too ludicrous for individuals, especially civilian populations, to contemplate, but there is always a much larger possibility no matter how ridiculous, and that would be a national attack. And the reason why it's not so crazy of a thought anymore, because it recently happened. Two in the last month, actually. There was one where it wasn't just AT&T, it was numerous companies in communications down. You couldn't talk, couldn't text, couldn't access internet services. There was a lot going on in the last week of February going into March. There was a lot going on.
Yeah, so with that mobile outage, at first they were blaming it on a solar flare because there was a giant solar flare that left the sun, which could have created some awesome northern lights, but it headed the wrong direction. It didn't head towards the Earth. So yes, that could have affected AT&T, but then they also said, oops, we sent out an update at the wrong time, and it didn't work the way it was supposed to.
Okay, so yet another complacency or not being on their game, basically, for security purposes, and bad actors took advantage.
Yep.
Nobody's really taken accountability for who even did it, because terrorist organizations love taking accountability for whatever they did, but nobody's taking accountability for it. So something happened, right? And then not even a week ago, we had a social media outage. It was Instagram, it was Facebook, and Messenger was out.
Was
that a week ago or 2 weeks ago?
No, that was like a couple days ago.
I don't know. Time gets away from me. I have kids. My dates run together.